Jeff Snyder here at TheWrap Sundance Video Studio, and I'm sitting down with Ezra Edelman, the director of O.J. Made in America, 7.5-hour documentary about O.J. Simpson. Thanks for coming in, Ezra.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.
Now, how long did this take you to make, and why did you want to spend, I'm imagining years of your life, telling the story about O.J. Simpson?
You wouldn't want to spend years of your life thinking about O.J. Simpson. It's been a couple intense years, more or less, a little less. But it really was the brainchild of Connor Schell, as the president of ESPN Films, who wanted to tell a story about O.J., and he came to me. And to be honest, I initially was reluctant because I thought, haven't we all lived through this? I lived through it. Mm-hmm. Like, is there really anything more to say? And Connor, really was great in saying, well, think about it. Think about it, what the story means to you. And when I thought about it, I said, no, man, this story is about everything that, one could want it to be. It's a story about everything. And it really, when I realized that I could do a deep dive into L.A., race, the police, it's about America. And that was what drew me to the story more than I need to tell a 7.5-hour story about O.J. Simpson.
Right. It's not as concerned with who did it so much as
Correct.
Everything around it.
Correct.
Now, you got a lot of key players from the trial, to appear in this documentary. How did you get them to open up to you?
$64,000 question. I don't know. All I could say is that we presented ourselves in a manner to say, look, this is what we're trying to do. We really want to talk about this with the proper historical perspective. We do not want to do anything sensationalist. It has been 20 years. I am doing this big thing with you or without you. So please share your thoughts and your recollections. And thankfully, a lot of people did.
As far as the length goes, there was never any pressure on you to cut or trim down to a more manageable length or anything like that?
Well, actually, it's quite the opposite. So It was conceived of as a 5-hour thing, 5 hours of television. Mm-hmm. And which I was pretty adamant. Even the reason I wanted to actually do it, I was like, 5-hour film. I don't want to make a miniseries. I want to make a 5-hour. Got into it, and honestly, we started working on it through the editing process, and it went from, I actually need this to make it 5 hours, 300 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then it became, well, can I make it 6 hours? And again, to ESPN's credit, they said, sure, great, do what you think. We screened a rough cut that was over 7.5, and they said, we think it's great, and there are things that we'd want you to add, so why don't you just make it 5 parts and make it 7.5 hours long?
So that's how it's going to be presented in 2-hour, 5
5 nights in a row,
okay.
In 2-hour chunks, so 10 hours of television.
That's
cool.
And
so in many ways, it's like they deserve a lot of credit by not being so rigid in their approach. They let us do the work. They let us present them with what we did, and they said, we like this. This is deserving of this much time.
Is the film screening again here at Sundance?
It is not.
Okay, when does it debut on ESPN?
The plan is for it to be on in June. There are no official dates yet.
Okay, I will clear my schedule. Ezra, thanks so much for coming by. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
Good luck with everything.